I know that therapy can be very heady and logical. And having been a runner in college and knowing the importance of connecting the mind, body, and all of that, that I needed more tools in the tool bag.
Welcome to the Mastery Experience. I'm your host, Francesca Sipma, and we are diving deep into mental mastery. This is where self-awareness meets peak performance. You're going to witness the truth behind personal development, emotional breakthroughs, dissolving triggers, getting into flow state, discovering purpose, and most importantly, mastering intuitive action. And we do this through a process called HypnoBreathwork. This is your community committed to breaking behavior patterns, getting into alignment, pursuing excellence, and self-mastery. Let's do the work. This is the Mastery Experience. Laurie Chapman, welcome to the Mastery Experience.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. We start every single episode of the show with a card from our Mastery deck.
Okay.
And your question today is, how do you handle the space between desire and disappointment?
Oh my God. Well, I used to rush into problem solving right away and trying to fix it because I didn't like the disappointment feeling.
Yeah.
If I didn't get what I wanted to desire, you know, or if I got what I desired, I want to make sure I didn't go into disappointment. And I've learned to try to just sit a little bit in it. It's very uncomfortable sometimes. So it really depends on, did I get something I wanted? Now I'm afraid it's going to be taken away. Or did I not get what I wanted? And then what does that mean about me?
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable. It can be painful depending on the situation. But I like to sit in it because my experience from the past is when I act too quickly to try to fix whatever feeling I have, it usually doesn't end up well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know that you're in the process of writing a book right now.
I am. Yeah.
And I think,
you just did that.
I published my book last year, Unblock Your Purpose. And one of the coolest things it did for me, sort of psychologically, was putting everything on paper and all of these sort of milestone stories in my life that I thought were just so detrimental. I wanted this so badly, like this guy or this job. They ended up being like a paragraph in a chapter. And having that context now, every time I want something so badly and it doesn't work out for me, I've seen it now through a macro, like zoomed out story where I'm like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Something better came.
Right.
I needed to just trust, or I had to grow into it before I could have it. And I think that's going to be a process that you kind of go through in this writing experience, just being able to see things from a macro perspective. That's
the hard part. You're right. Sometimes you have to step out of it to see it. And when you're in it, you're just in it. So I like how you framed that. What a cool thing to look back on that as you've read that. And
it mostly came from relationships, you know, like I was so gutted by this man, or I was so in love, like almost obsessed, because I have a history of more of the toxic style of relationships.
Yeah, I can relate.
And then it was like, that guy didn't even make the chapter. You know what I mean? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, all right, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But you are actually a licensed therapist. You have been for almost 3 decades, 26 years.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you're also a HypnoBreathwork coach.
I know. Super exciting.
Which is a killer combination. But first, share with us a little bit about why you chose that career path.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think I always like to problem solve. And the funny thing is, I was going to go into sports marketing or go get my master's degree. And I wasn't really sure. I worked a little bit in LA in a sports marketing firm, and it was a little bit pre-Me Too movement. So there were some interesting things going on, a lot of sexist situations happening. And then my parents got a divorce. So it's sort of like the impetus for maybe I'll go, get my master's degree and see if I can do some healing from it, learn from it, and get out of LA for a little bit. It was kind of toxic at the time.
Yeah.
And so that's what led me down to San Diego. And that's when I started my master's at San Diego State.
I'm just going to hone in on your parents were getting a divorce at the time. What sort of implications did that have on your decision, or maybe even your desire to want to get into psychology?
Yeah, I think growing up one of 4 kids in a family, pretty big size family, with really young parents who didn't really have the tools to navigate through some of the conflict and situations they had. I remember observing that a lot as a kid and seeing a lot of discrepancies between how my mom was treated versus my dad and how they handled problems. And so I think I was always curious about, like, how are we going to fix this? What's going to happen? So when I heard they were divorcing, it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
I was away at college, and I think, it made me think, well, I really want to dig, into myself a little bit more and explore how it impacted me, and also see if I can't have an impact on helping others going through this. And a couple of my friends that were a couple when I was in college and I was getting my psychology degree asked me to help them solve some problems. I forgot about this as we're talking. I'm remembering.
I love it.
And it worked out pretty well. I was like, oh, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
And I sort of, this is kind of sad. I didn't want to go home, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay away from that dynamic. And I think I just, education and delving into things was a way to avoid, but also a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of all those things together. Yeah.
Just curious, where did you fall in the 4 siblings?
Three
Okay.
of 4.
Okay. Okay, so you decide you love solving problems, you like helping people, you're pretty naturally good at it. So where did it go from there, post-college?
So post-college, postgraduate degree. So I started working in a nonprofit. Well, I had various jobs. Back then, you got paid like $5 an hour to work with the most difficult situations. And I worked in a nonprofit, San Diego Youth Services is what it's called now. And I was pretty young, so trying to do therapy at that time, or even tell people how to parent their children when I'm like in my 20s, and I look like a child. I literally, there was a program, they took pictures of these programs at the schools, and I was one of the therapists at it, and I have a picture of myself, and I literally look like a child holding this child, telling this family, what they're supposed to do. So I wasn't really emotionally ready for that.
Yeah.
So I went into nonprofit management and learned how to write grants and run programs. And that was really creative and innovative because we did a lot of community work. So we really worked to meet the needs of the community, youth and families in particular. And so I learned how to advocate and speak up, and I sat on these different boards to create and innovate. And that was really exciting.
Yeah.
And then as I was maturing, I decided I wanted to go back and try therapy out. I was doing it a little bit here and there throughout, so I can get my hours and become licensed.
Yeah.
But after about 10, I think I was there for 13 years, is when I delved back into more full-time therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been doing therapy, you have your reps in, you have so much experience in this world now. What sort of drew you to the HypnoBreathwork?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so early on in my career, before I was fully licensed, I was also drawn to, I got trained as a Reiki practitioner.
Okay.
And also was working with a woman who was a shaman, and I was getting, I guess, mentored by her until she got a little dark on me, a little dark energy.
Yeah.
So I know that therapy can be very heady and logical. And having been a runner in college and knowing the importance of connecting the mind, body, and all of that, that I needed more tools in the tool bag.
Yeah.
And so I'd done, I'd been to yoga sessions where they did breath work and found it interesting, but I loved the idea that it was like a protocol with science behind it.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be hours long. I could put it into an adjunct to the therapy work that I do. I can do it just with my clients, and then we can talk about it. But it was really fit into the work that I do, which is primarily trauma.
Yeah.
I do performance enhancement, and I do a lot of drug treatment work.
Okay.
So when I had read about it, and you came across one of my feeds, it was just a beautiful synchronicity.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by it, and I wanted to learn more.
I think you came to the class at Yoga Deck.
That's it.
Is that how it was?
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming up to me afterwards, and you're like, what was that? I like that.
Yes,
like, okay,
I was in that space. It was really cool. And I really, because I'd done breath work sessions before, and like rebirthing back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But it was totally different. And the combination of the, verbal prompts and the intention and the rhythm of the breath and the music. You're so good at picking music that just brilliantly, works with what the intention of the session is from your standpoint, was really moving. And so for me, I always have to try things out. Even therapy, when I get new interventions, I want to know if they work or how they feel. And I had never had an experience like that. Really.
Well, I feel like we've modernized it, right? Coming from, because I've done the rebirthing, the holotropic, the shamanic breathworks, and wanting to sort of bring it over to the mainstream.
That's right.
I knew that there had to be tweaks made to it, and especially the people and the clients that we work with. Like, you work with a lot of YPO leaders, presidents, executives, entrepreneurs. And so for them, effectiveness, results driven, time is obviously of the essence. And so being able to kind of cut through and get them there quicker. And the music is modern and it's customized, and they can drop in a little bit easier. Yes. What's sort of been the, I guess, takeaways, or how has it been going as you've been kind of incorporating it with some of your clients?
It has been really fascinating to see when I pair it with the trauma work. Yeah. It's been really helpful in opening clients up, and, as it's intended to do. So when I have, one, people have to be open to doing the work in general anyway. So my clients that are ready to go, it's a really good integrated tool that I use along with EMDR. Sometimes I use it alone I don't need to bring the EMDR into play. One of my clients, he actually likes listening just to the Mastery app. And then, so we'll go on the app and find something that he likes. He just likes the repetitive. That's kind of how his brain works. And then we'll talk about what came up for him. And so that's how I'll do a lot of the integrative pieces afterwards, like you taught us to do. And sometimes we'll do the bilateral stimulation of the EMDR to really strengthen the neural pathways in the brain. And so it's been really cool to play with it. And this year I was I had some changes in the practice a little bit. So I'm looking at, kind of contemplating different ways to bring it in on a larger scale.
Oh, that sounds exciting. I don't know why this is coming up for me right now, but I just keep thinking about this boyfriend that I had when I lived in New York. And I remember when he started going to therapy, and he was like months in, and then he came to me one day and he said, I shared with my therapist that, the drinking might be a problem. And I was like, just now? That wasn't the first conversation you had? Like, it's been like 4 months. And I remember him being like, F you, like, what the hell? And I was just like, how are you not working through the root right away? Right. But I think for men, they're almost performative in the beginning with therapy. And it's hard to really break through and have them get vulnerable and talk about the emotions. And they're just so protective and defensive, or sometimes I don't even remember. That's right. And I feel like the breath is like a really big catalyst to opening them up, and immediately. Have you noticed that? Yes. Yeah. The men more so than the women. Yeah. It's really interesting. Yeah. And as we're talking about bringing this to maybe groups or to a bigger audience, I've found that if you work with a man who can lead in that vulnerability and maybe share his experience first and make the room safe for everyone else, then it's just boom, boom, boom. It's breakthrough after breakthrough. That's a brilliant idea. The music too, a little bit more masculine songs, but the ones that like a little Coldplay in there, like that will that'll definitely break them open. We both work with male clients, and so the breath work for that audience, I just find it to be so powerful every time. I love working with male clients. Yeah, me too. Me too. for many reasons, right? Yeah. How has the HypnoBreathwork sort of helped you personally and in your business? So I use it when I'm stuck. And trying to think of a new creative idea. And it's funny because I was just thinking about creating we'll see what happens here. But with writing this book, getting my juices flowing. So when I need to get into that
more open state of consciousness,
Yes,
right? Where the blocks are out of the way.
Yeah.
That's how I use it. If I'm feeling not particularly grounded, I always come in early to the office. I'll use it to get grounded and centered, and also with an intention of help me to see some things I haven't seen as my clients come in. Help me to be able to identify the more important points we need to focus on. So those things, it's been really powerful and really helpful.
Yeah, it's powerful to get perspective.
Yep.
Have you done it on couples yet?
No. I have a couple I was ready to do it with, and then they decided to have a split, but they're really open to that.
Yeah.
So no, I'd love to learn how to do that, or just go for it.
Yeah, I think go for it, because I mean, I'm sure you've seen on social media, like Steve and I, my partner.
You guys are amazing. You guys do it. I know.
Thank you. And thanks to breathwork, honestly, because, you know, when it comes to relationships, we have so many of our own patterns and our own wounds, and I can be extremely stubborn. And when it comes to our relationship and trying to see each other's point of view, I tend to go more reactive and he tends to go more defensive. And that's a hard combination when you're trying to resolve conflict.
Yes.
And when we do the breath work, it's just immediately, it just softens us. It gets us into our heart space. We have more empathy for the other person's perspective. And you can just see angles that
you couldn't see.
You couldn't see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I remember last, it was in Q4 last year when I had launched the book, I had like a sprint, you know, it was like 30 flights, events, podcasts, all these things. It was so crazy busy. And I came home and I was just so livid with him. I was so mad. Like, don't you see how hard I'm working? I'm exhausted. Could you have food ready for me? Like, could you do things for me? Like, can you just be proactive? And I was 1000% sure that I was in the right. And I just remember being like so bitter. And I went to the breathwork session the next morning and it was like, you're wrong. You're in the wrong. And I was like, oh, what? And the insight I got was, you've completely neglected your relationship in this season. You've put work before him like you always do. And now you're expecting him to give. If you want that, you have to give it first. And then. Oh,
that's a beautiful message, right?
I mean, coming from the breathwork coach who created the modality, who does this every single morning, and how I was just not aware in that situation. But 22 minutes later, and I just remember coming out of the session being like, I'm sorry, I love you. And he's like, okay, you know?
And he said, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it came from a different place too, right?
My energy was so different.
So different. That's a key. That you're right on. Yeah. The couples work. That's why. The shifting that happens energetically, the softening, you mentioned that earlier. And I don't know why I didn't put the two together. I don't see as many couples. And so maybe I have my own fear about, oh, let's try this out. But I need to, that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I just need to go for it.
I think go for it. And even in the individual sessions, like having them see their partner in that session and see the perspective, it really softens them.
Yeah.
I remember one of the group sessions I did for high performance lifestyle training, I had customized the sessions around relationships. And when we came out, I think half the men were like, my action step is to call my wife and tell her I'm sorry, tell her I love her, tell her I'm grateful for her. And I was like, what woman doesn't want that call?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah. It just gives them that gratitude. And because we take people for granted when we've been in relationships for a while, you know?
We do.
Yeah.
And we don't stop. And tune in. And the HypnoBreathwork is a great way to stop and tune in. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of, I think there's some cool opportunities, and I think that you'll just be so fulfilled. I said this to somebody the other day. I'm like, man, if I was as lit up about helping people in relationships as I was about business and purpose, I think I could heal so many, divorces and even infidelity, because there's sessions around that we can talk about too. But another division that you're passionate about and you've been really proactive about is Mastery Kids.
Yes.
Is doing the sessions for teens and for children.
Yes.
And your daughter actually created a session called Teen Confidence for the app, and it was absolutely brilliant. How did that even come about?
Oh my gosh. So she struggles with anxiety. She's always had an anxious demeanor, but some of it's whatever. We can blame it on genetics, whatever.
Yeah.
But she as an athlete, we were originally thinking, because she always gets performance anxiety before athletic events or sometimes tests, not so much anymore. And so I had been talking to her about this and led her through a few sessions. She was a little, resistant. And I said, it'd be really cool for you to share this with other young people. And so her dad happens to be a music producer. He's been doing this for a long time. And I was really surprised because I told him, kind of the type of music and what had to happen and about how long.
Yeah.
And he interpreted it well. He made the track.
Yep.
And she and I worked on, the kind of words, I know sort of the tempo of how it's supposed to be. So we talked about languaging it. And I kind of wrote it out for her so she'd have it in front of her, but she was a natural. And so I've been pushing her, like, let's talk about it more. She's a little nervous about promoting it. It's really fun. She's at that age, where they're just worried about everything and what people think. But she was so good at it and so calm, and her voice was so clear. And it was a surprise. It was really endearing to me.
Oh my goodness. I know. As soon as I heard it, she was like, inhale, exhale, sigh it out. I was like, she's so cute. I'm like, what is going on?
I know. Yeah. I was so impressed. I'm like, geez.
Yeah, she was really good. And I think the cool thing about having her create it was like from her own authentic experience, and all the words that she chose just resonate for her peers. Yep. And it's the same thing with the other Mastery Kids sessions that Jax did. We worked on, he wrote all the scripts for those. Yep. And if I gave him an idea, he's like, we don't speak like that. Right. I don't like that song, like these colors are better. And I was like, okay, whatever your intuition says.
Exactly.
And that will really resonate with that whole demographic. So I'm so grateful for you of even reaching out and being so proactive about that, because I think that session can help a lot of teenagers.
I think so too. And I really appreciate you working with me and just giving us a shot, Yeah.
You know how we roll here. If it's intuitive, we take action on it. And it absolutely was. So
that's really what exciting. I felt. Yeah. I'm going
to
reach out to her and see.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you did. So I'm going to take you through a HypnoBreathwork session today.
Okay.
And since you're getting this private one-on-one, customizable, what can I help you work through in this season of your life?
I definitely think the book, I'm a little stalled out. And I've been, like you, I get so focused on work and family and busy, and I need to carve out the time. I need to carve out the time.
What's the book about?
So the book is, the book's about being in your consciousness. I coined a term called active truth. Ooh. So what I've discovered through all the years of doing this work is that to be in our truth, we have to take action, and we can't just be sitting around. We have to be present. We have to take action. We have to do things to connect to our true selves. And, we've lost it. We came into the world, early on with just this intuitive ability to connect to the world and protect ourselves from others. And then we were shaped by our environment. And a lot of us have lost ourselves. Technology has really pulled us away. It will continue to with AI and everything and so I was just in an altered state of consciousness when this came to me. Actually started with breath work. Yep. That's where it came. Actually started, the idea came out of the training that I did with you, the certification. And I would just sit and get in the altar, do breath work, and I'd write. Yep. And I would just let, spirit guides, whatever, speak to me, whatever you want to call it. My higher self intuition, but it came through me, and I just kind of freelanced it out and let it roll. And now I'm in the process of trying to kind of organize it and put it together. And I've just been a little stuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Writing a book is not easy by any means.
I remember watching you in that process. Yeah.
It was intense. I think it was more intense than trying to build a business, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's narrative, it's emotion, it's grammar, it's sentence structure. Did I say this story in chapter 2 already? There's just so much mental load that goes into that. So what do you have right now? Do you have like sections that you've sort of put into a Google sheet? Do you have an outline? Do you have any chapters written? Where are you at?
I do have sections. I have some chapters written. I have it organized. It's almost like I had this energy around it, like I was excited. And this happens to me. I'll get these ideas, I get really creative, and then it's almost like the flame burns out. The flame burns out. So I feel like this, it's sort of like I'm seeing it, but I can't feel, I can't reach it.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now. And even the idea of, I really need to sit down, I need to, kind of get focused. I have, probably in the last couple of months, I've just been letting everything else pull me away. And this is a pattern for me.
Yep.
I make progress, I do shifting, I do a lot of different cool things, and then boom, I get overwhelmed by the tasks of life. So
I know exactly the session I'm going to take you through.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
How was your session?
It was really good. Yeah. Yeah. I always get like this. You're so great at this. I mean, for obvious reasons. But your voice just does something a little bit more to me during these breathwork sessions. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Let's break it down a little bit because I kind of took you through an interesting exploration in the beginning, and I said a couple different words to you. Were there any that kind of stood out?
Procrastination, fear.
Okay.
And then that led me to think of like perfectionism, old patterns.
Yeah.
Old patterns. Not good enough or...
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are actually a lot deeper blocks that's keeping you from writing.
Yes.
Okay. When I had you see the outline, see words, could you almost see sections like that felt inspiring to focus on?
Yes. And then I was thinking about, probably getting into that sort of altered state helped to kind of clear the block, right? So the breath work and clearing the blocks. And so that was coming back to me to be more proactive and consistent with, one, I have to set up a space for this, but just, I was like, all these ideas of what we should do to be more connected to ourselves are things that I've done and should do. But what was coming back to me is get back to that. Yeah. It's more exciting. That part of the book is a little bit more exciting to write about. It's more creative. It comes from multiple places. HypnoBreathwork is part of that, what I'm referencing. So that piece, I think, will get me more excited, that part of the chapter I need to go to.
I'm glad you said that because I actually think the environment is so important. Initially, when I wrote the first version of the book, I went to Bali and I gave myself 30 days to finish the first manuscript.
Oh my gosh.
And I did breathwork every single day. And I would do it with my laptop on my chest with my eyes closed, typing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a couple other more involved strategies in that I'll share with you. But that kind of helps you have the discipline and the inspiration when you're in an environment that feels really good. So even creating like a little nook in your home, like a little sanctuary where you have, maybe it's like your flowers and your candles set up, something that you can go to that feels really peaceful and good, that you can just focus for a couple hours a day.
Yes. I have an idea. Yes. Okay. I'm actually recreating a space.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I sort of wanted to take you to the end of the book journey because I think it's really hard. It's really hard to stay disciplined and to write when you don't feel like it and when you don't feel motivated. But sometimes what will motivate you is seeing the end result.
That was great.
Yeah, seeing the readers with the book in their hands. So what were you sort of visualizing and feeling at the end?
I was feeling really strong and confident and empowered. And seeing myself talking and standing up somewhere and describing the book. I was seeing myself on a podcast, probably some social media discussions. I was seeing I felt really strong. Yeah. There was something about, like, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like you, and also relief, right?
Yeah.
So seeing the end of it, like, So, and one thing that came to mind that I just remembered as I was talking was, like feeling like I've done something I was spiritually tasked to do.
Yes.
And like, it's really important to get back to that. And then feeling like, okay, you did something really critical.
Yeah.
And important. And so that's what it felt like towards the end.
I tried to, we had the song where it came up, the fears and the procrastination. And then I tried to move you into seeing your knowledge, your skills, everything that you've accumulated, and make it feel like purpose and make you kind of feel that strength to continue pursuing this journey. But you're going to have to consistently tap into that.
Yeah.
So more breath work. Truly.
Yes, that's what came to me as well. Yeah. I have to do more breath work on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being that trip that I went to Bali for 30 days. It was during COVID, and I had to go to Jakarta and be in quarantine for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I was at the Ritz, and I had them bring like a spin bike to my room because I wasn't allowed to leave for 10 days. And I remember calling Steph and being like, I'm so blocked. Like, I'm sitting here going crazy. Like, and I can't get anything out. I'm like transcribing podcasts. And she was like, you're in your ego. Like, you're just trying to sound smart. You're writing to be intelligent, and you're writing not from a place of service.
Gosh, such great reminders.
And so she took me through a breath work, and it really unlocked something for me. And I used some of that on this session today. So I hope it unlocks for you and it gets you flowing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many nuggets from this.
Good.
Thank you.
And what was your intuitive action step?
Carving out the time, sort of what you said, carving out the time. I wasn't even thinking about the space, but I had been working on the space. So you reminded me of that. I have a space in the back of my house.
Yeah.
But really carving out the time and the breath work came to me around the blocks.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I actually had a little download when you were breathing, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have her back on the show when she has the book, and we're going to promote it.
So amazing.
Yes, of course.
That would be so amazing.
Yes, of course.
You. Thank you.
And if anybody is looking to get in contact with you now, if they want a therapist who has these tools in their practice, how can they reach you? How can they find you?
They can look me up online. Okay. Laurie Chapman, marriage and family therapist. I have a bunch of different websites. I wish I'm a little old school. I need to get a handle. I need an Instagram. So I'm working on that. I'll have to do that. That is going to be one of my action steps as well for this book. But really, they can just Google my name, San Diego. There's lots of
amazing. And we'll put that all in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
And if anybody at home wants to unblock and get into a flow state, there's a session on Mastery app.
Yes.
It's under my name. And it's called Unblock, and that will get your creative juices flowing. So, Laurie, thank you so much for being on the Mastery Experience.
And I just want to say that Mastery app is it's an amazing tool, and there's no reason for people not to do HypnoBreathwork. So I use it all the time with my clients. I share it with my clients, and I just wanted to say thank you for creating that and helping others as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
you.
Awesome.